Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. For a free trial, check out the link in the description. Today we're going to take a first look at the brand new Potsdam Film from Lomography. This is a black and white 100 speed film, and I was luckily chosen to be one of the beta testers, so while I believe you can pre-order the film, it hasn't actually been released to the public yet. They chose a handful of people to send it out and basically try it out first and see the results. And today we're going to take a look at it. I shot one roll of 120 through my Pentax 6.7 in the backyard, and I'm going to show you guys every frame so you can kind of get a feel for how the film performs and something different from me, as this is obviously a film I've never shot before, and I'm trying to shoot a little bit more variety this year in terms of my films. So I was really excited to try it out, and again, it was nothing fancy. We were in the backyard, me, Molly, and our son Elliot. Elliot was eating some pizza, as he does. He is my son. We could live on pizza if we wanted to. But I shot a roll through the Pentax 6.7, the 90mm f2.8, and I shot this at 100 speed. I didn't push it or anything. I wanted to really just get a good baseline for the film. So for the technical information right up front, I can go ahead and share. I shot everything at 1/500th of a second, f2.8, ISO 100 obviously, and I developed this in Kodak HC110. Normally I use Ilfotec HC, but on the massive dev chart, whenever I looked up the development times, I didn't see anything for Ilfotec, but they did have a time for HC110, so that's why I chose that developer. I did dilution B, and I developed it for 7 minutes at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So there is all the technical information. I scanned these or digitized these with my Fuji X-T3, and very, very happy with the results. We'll go ahead and kind of take a look at some of these images here and kind of dig into them a little bit more. The first thing I wanted to get some photos of was my lovely wife, Molly. I never get a chance to shoot just individual portraits of her by herself, at least as often as I used to. Pretty much at all times, one of us is either holding a kid or fixing food for a kid or trying to calm a kid down from having a meltdown. So the light was really nice. She was backlit, and I just wanted to get some, just some updated portraits of her. And so the photos themselves, I'm really happy with. I like this 90mm. I really like being able to focus nice and close. I got a comment the other day where somebody told me, I can't use a 90mm on the Pentax because that's not a true portrait lens. Which is odd because it seems that it let me take a photo of her. I don't know. I guess rules are rules to some people. But I am happy with the results. The film, if you zoom in nice and close, I mean, obviously the lens, it's a nice lens, but really, really sharp film. There's minimal grain there. It looks really good. So I was really happy with that. Just shot some photos of her standing there in the backyard, some of her sitting in this swing that we have. And actually, one thing I was surprised by this film, because it does have a little bit more contrast for, a standard black and white film. It has some really nice punchy blacks to it. But at the same time, as I was scanning everything in, you can scan it in very flat and still get a ton of information there, both in the highlights and the shadows. So it's not just, stark black and white. There's plenty of gray tones in there. So I actually was kind of surprised by that, because from the results that I've seen a lot of contrast, but I actually ended up adding more contrast in post just to kind of fit it more to my liking. But still, it held up really, really well. As I mentioned, Elliot was hanging out with us, eating a slice of pizza, just walking around the yard with a slice of pizza, and he was excited about it. I shot a couple photos of him. This one here, he kind of moved and started talking. This second shot here, I absolutely love this one just because of the face he's making. He's kind of grinning as he's chewing up his food. He's a very animated kid, so I'm always excited to shoot photos of him, but really like this one here. And then as he was sitting on the table, our dogs were waiting ever so patiently for hopefully Elliot to drop that piece of crust so they could pick it up. But this one here, he kind of leaned forward as I took the shot, so his eyes are out of focus, which is unfortunate. But I do like this second shot that was a little bit further back, where you could see the dogs, one over his shoulder and one at his feet, and my wife sitting back there watching. But I really, really liked how well this film held up. Obviously, I was exposing for in front of him because he was backlit, but you can see even the light as it's hitting his shoulder, it it held the detail really well. That was direct sunlight. And yeah, really happy with that. And then the last photo here, this is probably my favorite photo on the roll. I really like the light in her eyes there as she was looking up. You get the almost like the catch light of the sky above. Really like the light here. I like the line of the swing that she was sitting in as she was kind of resting her hands on the ropes there. Just really happy with this image. I like this one a lot. And my wife is a babe, so that never hurts either. So before we wrap everything up here, I do want to take a second once again to thank our sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an amazing online learning community with thousands of classes on just about anything you can think of, but most importantly, they have some amazing photography classes. I've personally taken some great classes on Skillshare from people like Andre Wagner, Steven Vanasco, and Dan Rubin. It's a monthly subscription service, and it actually costs less than most online learning platforms do. But if you want to try Skillshare out entirely free, you can get a 2-month free trial if you sign up using the link in the description. So all in all, I'm really happy with how the Potsdam film held up. I was pretty surprised. Again, I'm used to shooting the same, handful of black and white films that I've used for years. So it's been nice to kind of step out of my comfort zone and try out some different things. I've never shot Ilford Delta 100, but it might be interesting to compare that to the Potsdam 100 just to kind of have a side-by-side comparison of two black and white 100 speed films. So maybe we'll do something like that. I do have another roll of this film in 35mm, so maybe if you guys are interested in sort of a follow-up video where I do a similar kind of thing, just kind of walking through the shots and kind of compare the film both in 35 and 120, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. And I'm also shooting the Lomography Berlin, which is their 400 speed black and white film. I've shot one roll in 35. I have another roll I'm going to be putting through one of my cameras in the next few days, so you can expect that video as well. But let's see. Oh, one more thing before I wrap up. I do want to say that this grip right here on my Pentax 6.7, this is a 3D printed grip that I picked up on eBay. I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to check it out. This came all the way from Poland. Super affordable for a right-hand grip, and this has made this camera so much more just comfortable to shoot with. It's way more ergonomic this way. That's always been one of my biggest complaints about this camera, as much as I love it. The right-hand side, the grip is just not much there. It just slides on to your strap lugs there, and then you tighten it with this little Allen bolt. This thing is amazing. Money well spent. I'm going to put a link in the description, again, if you're interested in that, because I know a lot of people are going to see that, and they're going to have questions about it and where to buy it. So there it is. Highly recommended. If you guys have any questions at all about this film or any of the photos here, please let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.